Welcome back, everybody, to Doubleheader Weekly Picks. And before we begin, see behind me, folks, two doors, one key and two keys. Well, tend to be two keys. One will lead your team to the postseason. The other will lead them to elimination. You have crossed one dimension, both between survival and elimination. You have crossed into another episode of Doubleheader Weekly Picks. Well, folks, you saw the intro. It's Christmas time. 'Cause today we're recording on Christmas Eve, and this year would have been marked the 100th birthday of Rod Serling, the host of Twilight Zone. Knowing that's been a favorite for the past 60 plus years. But moving on to the NFL, well, who's punched their ticket to the postseason and who's been eliminated? Well, let's start with our first game in Landover, Maryland. Shall we? There you go. You know
Yeah,
what?
the Eagles and the Commanders faced each other off, and the Commanders got it done.
Yeah, they overcame five turnovers, but thanks to Jaden Daniels throwing five touchdowns, including the game winner to Jamison Crowder, who, by the way, only came in just after it off the injured list and only had two catches, 15 yards, both of them for touchdowns, and then the game winner. And also Monday, the Seahawks, five catches, 70 yards, and two touchdowns themselves. So Commanders, I got it. You know what that means? Uh, these real quick. I want to group these. Thank you. Okay, once we That's definitely an early Christmas present for the Washington fans. As for the Eagles, yeah, you forced five turnovers, but couldn't get a stop when it mattered most. And Mr. C.J. Gardner Johnson, yeah, you made an obscene gesture to the fans and got into a scuffle with the referees, leading to an ejection and that said gesture when you left the field. And well, you know what happens when you lose in Philly? They say boo and
Yeah, and what an obscene gesture by the Washington player. Definitely not, definitely not called for at all, and definitely not the right sportsmanship, as they say in sports. But yeah, I mean, we knew this game was going to be close uh, with our predictions of 27-20 and 27-24. But I think I said last week it could have gone either way. And Washington, you did your job, and Eagles, you came up just a tad short.
yep, and this game definitely had an impact on the playoff picture, more on that in the moment. But either way, congrats to the Commanders. Eagles, oh boy, that was not the time to have a defensive letdown. So moving on from that exciting game in Landover to this game in Chicago, where the Lions, well, despite all their injuries on defense, well, held the Bears in the final score.
Yeah. But the Bears, or excuse me, the Lions rather, they still look pretty solid despite they're missing pieces on defense. It's gonna be hard for them going forward, I believe. But a lot can change. But as for the Bears, it's been the same song and dance all year long, or ever since that bye week.
Yeah, they haven't won since they were in London for their bye week, and they're way out of the playoff picture now because they were eliminated 2 weeks ago. And man, this season just can't end soon enough. But for the Lions, I mean, good day on offense. Jared Goff earned 36 yards passing, three touchdown passes, including a trick play to Sam Laporta. Amir gets 23 carries, buck 09 in the score, and Jameson Williams best day of so far, five catches, buck 43 in the score. Lions, you've been hearing this all year long. You grab, there we are. Oh yes, keep good cheers going. And also Lions, you're in the driver's seat for the number one seed because the Eagles lost, so that means you have a one-game lead over them. As for Chicago, well, it's just I think I know what's you know the drill.
Yeah, Boo you think is right, and just not been the season, and for the teams that that are not in the playoff hunt anymore. They just want the season to end at this point.
Yeah, and then more. And unfortunately for you, on to our next game. I know the Lions had to let a player go. It was Mr. I can't, I don't know why I can't find the name, but he was on charge with DUI, and unfortunately that didn't sit too well with the Lions front office, so they had to let him go. So not the news you need to hear for the Lions, but that guy might have played himself out of a Super Bowl ring. So, but either way, Lions good win. Bears, that's the season can't end soon enough. Uh,
Yeah, but Bears, they can't end the season soon enough, and yeah, it's a rough one.
it has. So, moving on from that game, we have on to this one in Atlanta, where Michael Penix got his first NFL start. Played pretty good, passed for 201 yards. Didn't throw a touchdown pass, but didn't. But a victorious one nonetheless. Falcons dominated the Giants 34-7, thanks in part to two defensive touchdowns, one by Jesse Bates, another by Matthew Judon, and a big day from
Yeah,
B. John Robinson.
yep, Jesse Bates and the other one, that you just said, Amir. What what a what a what a what a game by them, and they got it done nonetheless. And it was expected for sure. And for the Giants, winless at home this year in the regular season.
Well, this is played in Atlanta, but they haven't won since early October, and this season has not gone according to plan. But as for Atlanta, well, you won the game and got some help later on. We'll touch on later. But as it says in the background, Matthew Judon, who scored his first NFL touchdown, rise up. You also have received this. Pressy grab. There we go. And the Giants, well, yeah, as I mentioned before, with this 100 season, has well been a forgettable one.
Oh, you stink!
Yeah, but unforgettable is the word for the Giants this season. And one of these days, hopefully, they can turn their luck around and get better from that. And there we go. Now I can feel a little bit better. But
Yep, and I tried to put this in slideshow, but yeah, hopefully they can turn it around, but it won't be this year since they dropped to 2-13, Atlanta 8-7, and they got some help, but we'll move on to that in a few moments. But next, we go to the Battle of Ohio Part 2, this the Cincinnati edition. Oh, the home fans in the city of Cincinnati, oh, they got their money's worth.
they got their money's worth indeed, and you know they look pretty solid. They're still in the hunt. That being Cincinnati and Cleveland, it's been, yeah, I can't describe it. They look good, but at the same time they don't. And when it comes down to injuries, it really shows them how weak they are. I really hate to see that.
Yeah, and Browns, unfortunately, your offense just couldn't stop turning the ball over at 3 on the day. And the Bengals defense, however, only allowed 6 points, and they've been part of the reason why the Bengals are in this tight spot right now. But but also thanks to Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase, they're still in the hunt. Joe Burrow 3 touchdown passes, Jamar Chase 97 yards and 6 catches and score. Also Geno Smith taking me forward with an interception. So Bengals, in addition to saying who they, you're saying and the Browns, you've been swept in the season series, and this long season can't end soon enough.
Oh, you stink!
Yeah, and DCR got the nod of playing in this game, and it looked the same. It looked and in no progress whatsoever. And Miles Garrett being in and out of the lineup, um,
Yeah.
it's been tough, man. congrats to Miles Garrett for being like the youngest player reaching 100 sacks before age 29. By the way.
Yep. So yeah, that was congrats to him on. Yeah, he rather celebrate that milestone and a victory and a winning season, but still a good milestone nonetheless. He's one of the best players on defense and on his Browns team, but fortunately, this day belongs to the Bengals and Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase as they remain in the hunt. While the Browns, like I said, they can't wait for this 2024 season to end soon enough. All right, moving on from the one Queen City game to the one in Charlotte, which man was a thrill no one saw coming. Because I didn't see it coming.
No, it was exciting, very exciting. Bryce Young, marvelous game, marvelous.
Marvelous indeed. Man, 150 yards passing. I know that's probably not like big numbers, but two touchdown passes and no turnovers, so that's good. And also Chuba Hubbard, 25 carries for buck 52 and two touchdowns, including the game win from 21 yards out. And Carolina rush offense, 243 total yards. So how that definitely deserves a. Oh yeah, and they're singing "Sweet Caroline" as well, Bank of America Stadium.
I remember the other day I blasted Sweet Caroline because of that amazing Cuba Hubbard run that to win it. And this is the first time that I remember. Yeah, this is the first time that the offense has led the team to a victory, right? Under Bryce Young.
Well, I mean, he's led in the victory actually in all five of his wins so far in his young career, and this is the most they scored in a win during his brief career as well, 36, and led it mostly coming on the ground, but in contribution by Mr. Young as well.
For sure. I want to say 73 yards on the ground for Mr. Young, including that one touchdown.
I believe so, and look it up right now. Either way, but I do know this that the Cardinals themselves had over 200 rushing yards in the game, including huge day by James Conner, who had a buck 17 before he left the game with an injury. But as for Arizona, this game, oh yeah, this was a painful one, or really hit you guys hard.
Yeah, that was a tough pill to swallow, and apparently one of the players was not really too happy after that game.
Yeah, Tree McBride, who by the way is leading on NFL tight ends with the in receptions and yardage, or was leading in yardage till we'll get to the game later on. Well, yeah, he let his frustrations out on Instagram, and can't say that I blame him. If you're a Cardinals fan,
You can't blame him, but again, you know, it doesn't matter who you play, no matter if they're 2-11, 6, 8-3, 15-1, what have you, because they're trying to compete too. Uh, they're trying to they're trying to say, hey, we're trying to get better against these sort of teams as well, and just act like that. That's a no no for me.
yeah. Speaking of no-nos for Arizona, as a result of that loss, you have been eliminated from the playoff race. No playoffs for the Cardinals.
Nope. And as rightfully so. I mean, great win for Carolina, and as for Arizona, I mean that's what happens. That's what happens sometimes when I mean you have a shot to do something great and don't come up with it. I mean, and you deserve to be eliminated.
Yeah, it wasn't all that long ago. I mean, they were going wins their bye and sold us in the first place, and look where we are a month later. So that key to the
Yeah.
open to the door was the wrong one. So moving on, another NFC West team played in North Carolina and one that played in East Weatherford, and kind of a rather low scoring affair again for the Rams, but they found a way to get it done.
Yeah. It was. I remember on the Fox broadcast for Carolina, they were keeping up with this game, and and it really helped that the Rams won and the Arizona Cardinals lost. So that was good for the Rams. And as for the Jets, it's been like I said, same song and dance for quite some time.
Well, since you said that, Jets, you know what happens. Well,
Yeah,
oh yeah.
Aaron Aaron Rodgers once again on the ground, and what's it gonna take, right? What's it gonna take?
I don't know, but that was a huge letdown from that offensive explosion last week in Jacksonville to, oh yeah, give the hometown fans what they've been saying all year long. Lack no offense on their home team.
Lack of offense. Just I can't even describe it anymore. I mean, you got Devontae Adams and all these kind of players, and all of a sudden you're not getting the result.
Yeah, they have not been getting the results, Jets fans, all season long, but the Rams they've been getting results. I mean, since their 1-4 start, they've been 8-2 and playing well and looking like it defensively. Helped the Jets to 9 points. The offense turned it on in the second half. Vernon Williams, 122 yards on 23 carries and a score, and also Tyler Higbee, welcome back to the lineup in the end zone. So LA, here you go. Yep. And also, you got some good news coming heading your way from the late afternoon window. This one went on in Charlotte, which we touched on shortly. But moving on from this game in MetLife to the game in Indianapolis, and wow, I mean, what were you guys? You thought the Panthers stat line was crazy. Well, listen to the Colts stat line: 335 yards rushing. Yes, you heard that right. 335 yards rushing from the Colts this past Sunday.
Unbelievable, unbelievable by Johnson Taylor who led the way for a 65-yard touchdown, which I still haven't seen yet. Um, man, talk about uh, are they long lost brothers? Because they can get along quite nicely. That being the Colts and the Panthers.
Well, they seem to be because I mean, Chuba Hubbard had that crushing fumble in overtime the week Sunday after Thanksgiving against Tampa, and well, that kind of pretty much was sealed the Panthers' fate in that game. And Jonathan Taylor had that fumble in Denver the week before that turned the tide in favor of Denver and sealed the Colts' fate. But they both bounced back on Sunday with big runs. I mean, Chuba with the overtime winner and Jonathan Taylor 3 touchdowns and also 218 yards rushing and did not fumble the ball at the goal line and helped the Colts not only win but remain in contention for the playoffs. And they are in the driver's spot in the teams that are in the hunt or sniffing, as they say in the Rich Eisen show. And not to mention Kenny Moore, 2 interceptions, and Josh Downs. Yes, he had a touchdown reception, so you have every right to be dancing. You got Kenny and Josh. So Colts fans, you earned it. Mhm.
And as for the Tennessee Titans, you've been seeing that button all year long.
Oh yeah, I mean, good effort. I mean, you gave Colts fans a scare in the late in the fourth quarter, but yeah, you can't when you give up 335 yards rushing, it's gonna have fans screaming this. Oh yeah.
Yep. So that's all I got for this game. So without further ado, I'm ready for the next one.
Yep. So moving on from Lucas Oil to now the late window and to the Great Northwest, where the Seahawks hosted the Vikings, and well, Vikings did something they hadn't done since 2006, winning Seattle.
Yeah. They look good, man. Scoring 34 for 30 excuse me 27 points. Excuse me. But they 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 look ready. They look ready indeed for that huge run.
Yes, they are. I mean, Sam Darnold. I mean, finally living up to that number one pick status, 3 touchdowns, and putting the game winner to Justin Jefferson, who well doing what Justin does best: 10 catch, buck 44, and of course, aforementioned 2 touchdown receptions, putting the game winner for 39 yards out. And Andrew Van Geekel, I mean, if you don't make the Pro Bowl this year, there better be an investigation because you helped your status in this game with 2 sacks, and also Mr. Theo Jackson, you clinched the game for your team with the interception to help your team go to 13-2. And by virtue of that Eagles loss to the Commanders, you have a shot at the number one seed in the NFC playoffs. You got to play the Lions one more time, but either way, and 2 teams 13-2 in the same division. Who would have saw that coming at the beginning of the season?
Well, if we want to go back to the bingo card references that we did in the beginning of the season, not me. That was not on my bingo card.
Me neither. I knew the Vikings would be good, but I didn't know they'd be like in contention for the number one seed. But here we are, and so
Here we are,
here we.
indeed.
Who would have thought number one seed would come down to 2 dome teams in the same division?
Pretty exciting. Pretty exciting that teams can compete like that. And without further ado, Amir, you can hit that button now.
Yep. So listen to the Skull chants, Vikings. You heard this. Here we go. Yep. So definitely. And as for the Seahawks, man, you guys, you're on the outside looking in because right now you're 8-7, and your quarterback is looking like well, it's a battle of former Jet quarterback. Well, your Jet, the one from MetLife is starting to rear its ugly head at the worst possible time because you've thrown 2 more interceptions, which leads the NFL, and as a result, Seahawks fans are saying this.
Yeah. So, I mean, best thing that they can do now is win out and see what happens from there, right?
And that's their only option. And win out. I mean, there are only 2 games left, and one more meeting with the Rams, and that will come in LA. So, we'll see. But either way, exciting game at Lumen Field, and cats out to the Vikings. So, moving on to rather closer game in Buffalo Orchard Park, New York.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with New England lately. They just find a way to keep it close, and lo and behold, the Bills were barely able to hang on.
Yeah, the Patriots jumped out to a 14-0 lead, and Buffalo routed out 24 unanswered points. And you're a Bills fan, you're saying, all right, we're finally going to put this game away. But then Patriots scored late to make it closer, but you're able to crub the onside kick and run out the rest of the clock. And having said all that, I mean, Murray's on retook the lead as James Cook, 11 carries for 100 yards and it scored, and 3 catches for 26 yards and a score. And Tyrone Johnson had that fumble recovery for a touchdown that really put the game out of reach for the Patriots despite that late touchdown reception. So Bills, you've experienced a lot of this year as well.
Sorry, I got distracted, but all good.
Uh-huh.
But thank you for the Krusty Krab for helping me out there. But yeah, the Bills, definitely deserves a hip hip hooray, but barely, barely. Where's that key? Where's that key? You have the key?
Yeah, right here.
Yeah. Yep. Oh, I still can't see it. Yep, there it is. There's the key, and you were able to hang on to it.
Yes, they did. Speaking of hanging on to things or lack thereof, Mr. Ramondre Stevenson, yeah, Patrick would say firmly grasped it, but fortunately, we're hearing a different tone after that fumble or that lateral went over your head and into the end zone for a Bills touchdown.
Yeah, Charlie Brown has something to say about that, and sure enough, he did. And man, well, good effort by New England. I'll give it that.
Yeah, because they came in as 14-point underdogs, and well, they said we're not going to screw the point spread. We come to play on our terms, not theirs. And Bills, you'll take it. You know, so having settled that, moving on from Orchard Park to Vegas, where I I don't know who really cashed in on this day in Vegas. It's called the Tank
Uh,
Bowl.
yeah. Well, to recap, actually, I am actually 9-2 according to this graphic here because I picked Jacksonville once again.
Oh, well, that needs to be 8-2 then. But either way, nearly got this. Man, I nearly got this game right. But anywho, so yeah, Jacksonville. Are you satisfied your team lost or won? Same with the Raiders. I have no idea.
I wouldn't be if I'm Jacksonville be satisfied at all. Um, you know, you're still trying to win games and improve your team, like Carolina and New York. You know, on the other side of the fence. But I would not be happy with that either.
No, and you're Jacksonville losing two fumbles late in the second quarter. Yeah, that's not going to please your coaching staff because it could have been up, who knows, by two scores or something or what have you. Although we had a rather close, well, still a close game in Vegas, and that allowed the Raiders to come away with the win when Amir Abdullah, who has my namesake but different spelling, scored the game winner late in the fourth quarter. And Brock Powers, speaking of alliterative names, well, he's the first rookie to have 100 catches in a season and also win over 1,000 yards, the third rookie tight end to ever do that behind Mike Ditka and Al Pitts just a few years ago. So Raiders, I well, it's been a while since you've heard this. Mhm. Yeah,
But
Jacksonville. Well, uh,
just play it.
mhm. There we go.
Yeah, that's right. And not happy, not happy.
Yeah, it's kind of a bittersweet in Vegas and Duval County because it's like, okay, what do we want to, But I say the Giant fans are somewhat happy because they'll be picking first, going to the draft order. But moving on from that game to the one that was televised here in our area and majority of the country, Niners and the Dolphins, and wasn't as we were hoping for a better matchup record wise when the schedule came out back in April.
Yeah. You know, good for Miami because they have a shot.
Oh yeah, and helps that you have a running game because Devon Achan, you have him on your fantasy roster. He's been helping you guys out the last few weeks. Yeah, 120 yards and 17 carries and a touchdown that really put the game out of reach. Thanks in part by Kadar Kahu, who had the game clinching interception to move, help the Dogs through to 7-8 on the year. Still eligible for the playoffs, but I have a long road ahead of them to do it. But winning helps. So Miami, here you go. Oh yeah. As for the
As for the
49ers, well,
49ers,
this long
yep.
season, oh well, it's going to be ending pretty soon because before your game even kicked off, you were eliminated from the playoff race, and while you gave it a good effort, wasn't good enough. So it's what, well, here you go.
Boo! You stink!
Ooh,
Not
yeah.
what I had in mind. Not what I had in mind at all when I tried to pick them as as the Super Bowl favorite or Super Bowl matchup against Kansas City back in our back in our preview episode. So way off on that one, Mr. Keenan. Way off.
Yeah, it's funny you bring up the Super Bowl because this is where the Niners played the 49ers in the Super Bowl just 4 or 5 seasons earlier, and at the end of the game, Jim Nantz said he saw the score before 29-17 on this very field. That was the one of Super Bowl 41 between the Colts and the Bears, long, long time ago. But Yeah, Niners, you'll be watching the Super Bowl from home this time because your playoff chances are done. Where did it go? There we go.
Oh,
Eliminated.
eliminated and for his 49ers, they they caught the bug at the wrong time.
Yeah, and keep in mind, I bring up why they were eliminated from playoff contention because the Commanders beat the Eagles in the early slate game. So that impacted two or three games on two on Sunday, one on Monday night. And the Sunday night game, which we'll get into right now, as in they didn't play like they were team eliminated, that being the Dallas Cowboys.
No, no, and Cooper Rush starting as quarterback over Dak Prescott, who was on IR, and so let's fast forward. Talk about that 3rd and 40 for Tampa Bay, Amir, because I remember when I turned on that game, and all of a sudden I saw third and 40, and I'm like, this can't be right. It's got to be like a Madden video game thing.
Yeah, that 3rd and 40 kind of summed up the Buccaneers' night because they were in position to score right outside the red zone, but a holding penalty moved them back, and then a sack by Michael Parsons pushed them back even further. And yeah, there's not many plays in the play sheet for 3rd and 40, so that killed that drive amongst many. Like getting back to the Cowboys, C.D. Lamb had a first half to remember, catching seven passes for buck 05. And while he didn't do much in the second half due to a shoulder injury, I'd say he made it was enough to keep the Cowboys in front of the Bucks. And when you have a big lead, defense can unleash its pass rush. And Micah Parsons had 2 sacks on the night and became the fastest player in NFL history to reach 50 sacks. And Deron Bland made the play of the game by stripping his Rashid White of a fumble, which was a great improvisation by Baker Mayfield. Just unfortunately, Rashad White couldn't hold on to the football, as Patrick would say, firmly grasp it. But Ron Bland certainly did that. And Cowboys fans, you'll take it. Mhm.
But too little, too late for Dallas, unfortunately, which we'll get to in a moment.
Yeah, and as for Tampa Bay, I mean, you're in sole position of first place coming into the game, but unfortunately, at day's end, this is what awaited you guys.
I did not see that coming, and I love that so very much, Amir. Man, they did blow it, and they are starting to blow it if they don't do something right now.
Oh yeah, because now as a result of that, well, this game, I'll tell you, just I don't know why I didn't see this before, but yeah, you're 9-3 to pick Tampa to win as well. But having said all that, yeah, this was crushing loss for Tampa. Because keep in mind they got swept by the Falcons, so that's now coming back to bite them at the worst possible time because they were running up a 4-game win streak, and things are looking good for them when Kirk Cousins got benched and all that. But result of this loss, they're now on the outside looking in. But Dallas, you were eliminated. Put up a good effort. Well, what do I do? Rearrange the playoff picture even further for the NFC. That is.
Yeah, and we picked these guys to be out much sooner. So way to fight back, but showed up a little too little, too late, like I mentioned earlier, and that was my point. Being eliminated and all. But hey, Dallas, I applaud you. You struggled a little bit, but you fought back. And as for Cowboys, Scooter Magooter did not take it well.
Yeah, let's just say that NFC East meeting is going to be an interesting one whenever that episode drops, especially in Eagles and Commanders, Scooter.
Yeah, most definitely. And moving on to our next game, which was the second to last game of this week before we get to our preview. Um, yeah, Chargers. You somehow found a way to get it done.
Yeah, yeah, and I mean, it wasn't a pretty first half for LA. I'll say San Diego again. But Denver, that was a great first half. 21 points, two touchdown passes by Bo Nix, and also intercepting Justin Herbert. But then the game turned around or started swinging Chargers' favor when they converted on a free kick, the first time that's been done since 1976, courtesy of Cameron Dicker. And wouldn't you know it, the last time that happened, it came courtesy of the Chargers, right reversing against the Bills in 1976, as I mentioned earlier.
Hmm. Interesting set line, um, and I got nothing else when it comes to this game. Really, um, I picked Denver to win this game 27-17, and I mean I got a 27 right, but I did get the 27 right for Denver though.
Yeah, I mean, they scored only two field goals in the second half, and as the Chargers outscored them after that free kick, if I'm doing my math correctly, 24-6 the rest of the way, thanks to two touchdown passes by Justin Herbert and Gus Edwards going in for J.K. Dobbins, 68 yards and two touchdowns. So, and Chargers defense also big bounce back in the second half, given where they were first two quarters of that game and the last quarters from the previous game. Yeah, LA fans, you earned this one.
Yep, and
Yep,
most
so
definitely, and for the Broncos, good effort, but you deserve this.
good. So you blew it too because you had a chance to lock up a playoff spot. But as a result of this loss, you're now slid down to the sixth, the final wild card spot, and have been swept by the Chargers. They beat them on their turf earlier in the season. So yeah, that was a yeah, that's good. The playoff picture, like I said, has changed a lot in Week 16. But either way, congrats to the Chargers, Broncos. You got another crack at it in a few days as it was recording. So moving on our to a Saturday game in Kansas City, and well, Chiefs fans, looks like man, three-peat is I'm gonna say inevitable, but looks pretty good given that your team's now 14-1 and have what 2 games left to go in the season.
You have 2 games left to go, and it was another close one by Kansas City. Winning those close games that we've seen all year long for 95% of this season.
Yeah, and give the Texans credit for keeping the game close, but Pat Mahomes and had a touchdown pass and a touchdown on the ground, and Trent McDuffie, who went 40 games without an interception, has now intercepted 2 passes in the last 2 games, span of 6 days. And then Xavier Wardy, 7 catches for 65 yards and scores. And KC, the good times just keep on rolling.
Yep. And as for the Texans, I would be a little concerned despite the fact that you guys been making headlines for the wrong reasons the last few weeks.
Yeah, it's Houston. Yeah, this is not how you want. Give it a good effort, but
Yep.
not
Yep.
not close, not good enough. And before we move on, we do have to address this Tank Dell injury. It was his season's done due to a dislocated knee, and he had to be carted off, well, taken to hospital, and it was bad enough that they didn't even show a replay of it. But we wish Tank Dell a speedy recovery.
Absolutely. Yep. I did hear the news about that, and best best wishes to him. So moving on. I'm ready. Uh,
Yep. So moving on from this second to our second slate of the Saturday doubleheader. This was played on Fox by being Battle AFC teams, and well, Baltimore, you heck, you got rid of the Pittsburgh jinx. Way to go. And thanks in part to a big performance by Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry.
And the dynamic duo of LH and DH.
Oh, yeah. LJ or Lamar Jackson, 3 touchdown passes. Derrick Henry, a buck 62 on the ground. And also Marlon Humphrey clinched the game with a pick six, although he may don't want to celebrate too early, Mr. Humphrey, but got in nonetheless. And Baltimore, here you go. Here we go. Mhm. As for Pittsburgh, you've now lost 2 games in the span of 6 days, and thanks in part to Russell Wilson turn the ball over twice, losing a killer fumble at the goal in the red zone, and that aforementioned pick six, which left Steeler fans saying, mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's gonna be a tough slate, for them coming up here pretty soon, which we'll get to later. So I got nothing
Oh,
else.
yeah.
So I'm ready for the next.
Yep, and as virtue of that game, and I should mention this before, well, I did mention it briefly in our last weekly picks episode. Both you guys are going to the playoffs. Maybe might meet up, see each other again in the postseason, depending on how things play out.
Most definitely. I don't mind that at all.
Yep, and moving on. Speaking of country ticket to the postseason, Green Bay. What a way to do it!
What a way to do it! And this is the first time that we've had a shutout all year long.
Oh, that's right, because yep, yeah, and Packers defense showed up on last night. At the time they're reporting, it held the Saints to 0 points, and also Packers rush offense, 180 total yards, with Josh Jacobs leading the league with 69 rushing yards in the score, and Emmanuel Wilson and Chris Brooks also finding the end zone. And so Green Bay, hats off to you guys. Saints, well, that ice chamber preparation did not work out. So, having said all that, Green Bay with this shutout, you have clinched the playoff spot, which deserves a yes, indeed. Bang on that drum all night long in Tattletown. As for Vince Rattler and the Saints, there's no parties on Bourbon Street because day before this game even took place, yeah, you received that news. Eliminated.
Eliminated indeed, and man, this was not the same team that we saw the first 2 weeks. Talk about a downward spiral, literally a downward spiral.
Yeah, I mean, they were looking like Super Bowl contenders the first 2 weeks against Carolina and Dallas, and then the wheels fell off, the injuries piled up, their coach got fired. They were to regain their mojo and the Rizzy, but fortunately, it was too little too late. And, well, yeah, fortunately, couldn't reach your record prediction, Keenan, but I was able to surpass mine. But yeah, you went 12-4,
Yeah,
so I went 13-3.
13-3 for me, and 12-4 for you, right?
13-3 for me and 12-4 for you.
12-4 for you. So yep, I said that backwards. My bad. Yeah, but yeah, I mean, good effort. I mean, it's so hard to predict these games for sure, but gotta be bold sometimes, and it just didn't work out.
Yep. Speaking of working out, I mean, as you can see by the playoff picture in the AFC, well, Baltimore, they're going to the playoffs, as are the Steelers. Chiefs still have that hold on the home field advantage. The Bills are right behind them. And you see the Colts, Dolphins, and the Bengals, they are still alive, but they need some help. As for the NFC playoff picture, it changed a lot because the Rams, they're in sole position in the first place in the NFC West. Falcons moved back to the first place position in the NFC South, whereas the Buccaneers, they're now in the hunt and got to win out the rest of their games. Hope the Falcons lose at least once. The Falcons have swept the season series back in October. And then Vikings, Lions, they are both tied for the same record, but Lions hold the tiebreaker because they beat the Vikings in at U.S. Bank Stadium back in October as well, in that thriller at the U.S. Bank Stadium. As for the Eagles, yeah, they are now a full game behind Detroit due to their loss to the Commanders, who not yet clinched a playoff spot, but could do so next week, or by the time we record next week, which if you hadn't noticed already, that their game is flexed to prime. It's already flexed to prime time, and previewing that game and rest of all the other games of Week 17 slate. Our next step in a doubleheader weekly day. So stay tuned, folks.
All right, so we are back with our Christmas slate of games. Christmas slate of games this week, Amir.
Yep, yes we do. Christmas slate is this is tomorrow at the time of this recording, so I'm wrapping 2 games tomorrow. Tomorrow, when you guys are doing Christmas, you know, wrapping the presents or doing Christmas dinner or lunch. So I haven't said all that. So of course you saw the picture from our last segment. Nothing's. I mean, a lot has changed. Ravens can win the playoffs. Several teams in the NFC have been eliminated. I mean, the Packs have also punched their ticket to the playoffs. And having said all that, let's move on to our Christmas slate of games. So let's unwrap our first slate. That will be in Kansas City.
Kansas City.
Pittsburgh. Frozen Kansas City.
Pittsburgh, excuse me. Pittsburgh. Yep. I have it right. I have some notes right here as well, so I can read some of these notes off. But so the betting odds, we don't have the betting odds this week, Amir, do we?
We do not include that. Oops, my fault, folks. Yeah. So what is? Nobody's slowing me down right now. So I don't know how that slipped through my fingers.
Well, as Amir read this off, I already made a prediction of 27-21. Chiefs will get the win, and we still don't know what the betting odds are at this time. So let us take a moment to
I'm
type
gonna
those
key that
in.
in now. So Chiefs one. Well, I'll let you read them once I get done typing them.
Yep. So the Chiefs are minus 150, and the Steelers are plus 130 rather. And Amir, you still gotta make a prediction, my friend. What are you thinking?
My Steelers can pull off the upset, 27-20 over Kansas City.
All right, so we pretty much have identical scores for the most part. We just have to, you know, I just have the Steelers are having 21, and you having the Chiefs 2020.
Mm-hmm. I'm getting the scores from last week. I should get one for this week NFL. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, I don't know why I forgot to put in the betting odds this week. It's just been one of those days. So anyway, you got KC winning. I got Pittsburgh winning.
Yep. So moving on to our second Netflix game. So both games are going to be on Netflix this week. So I have the Ravens winning 28-20, and for the betting odds, Amir, and for
Oh,
the Ravens,
this Ravens minus 250, Texans plus 210.
okay. So what are you thinking?
I got my score here. I'm going to pick the Ravens by 10, 27-17.
All right. So I like those. So Amir, you read those off for you, and for us rather, and I like it. So moving on.
Yep, moving on to our our Thursday night game, excuse me.
So
There,
I said the 24-10 for Seattle over Chicago. And Amir, what are the betting odds for this week?
Let's see if they can pull it up. There we go. Betting odds for this week for that game in Soldier Field: Seahawks minus 190, Bears plus 160.
All right. So Seattle is in the driver's seat. So Amir, what is your prediction?
Well, Seattle 27, Bears 6. Yeah, 13.
Okay, I like that a lot. So let's see if Seattle can win out because they definitely need some help doing that.
Oh yeah, and they definitely. So Bears, yeah, this long season, like I said, can't end soon enough. So moving on to our first Saturday slate of games, triple header on NFL Network, and you had the Chargers winning 27-10.
That's right. And Ramir, what says you? You have the Patriots scoring 10 and the Chargers throwing 31. And what is the betting odds for this week, sir?
Chargers, you got minus 215. Patriots plus 180.
All right. So the Chargers are in the driver's seat this week. I like it.
Yes, to do, and they got yep, and they should win this one rather handily, according to our predictions. But Patriots, as they showed in Buffalo last week, will have a say in the matter. So moving on to the first slate, to our second game in the Saturday triple header, that being the Bengals and the Broncos.
Well, I have them. I have the I have the Broncos winning 27-10 over Cincinnati. I just think it's going to be one of those types of games for Cincinnati, and they're not out of it quite yet, but a lot can change.
Yeah, I'll take the Bengals in an upset, 27-24.
All right,
Bengals
so it's going to
got a lot to play
come down.
for.
Yep, and it's going to come down to a field goal, perhaps.
Well, a game-winning touchdown pass by Joe Burrow to I don't know Jamar Chase or T Higgins.
Yep, and the betting odds for this week, Amir.
Yeah, so Denver is plus 150, Cincinnati minus 175.
Okay, I like those odds. So Denver is in the driver's seat this week.
Yes, they are. I mean, yeah, they can clinch a playoff spot with the win here, so that will officially lock up the well, definitely. If the Chargers win too, that will definitely set the playoff picture in stone for the AFC for the most part.
Yeah, and it'll be tough for Indianapolis as well.
hmm Moving on from that to our last slate of Saturday games, the Arizona Cardinals at the Rams.
And I said 30-24. The Rams should take care of business. It's gonna be close. The Cardinals have looked good, but despite losing to Carolina last week, they are eliminated from the race.
Yeah, I mean, and yeah, I think when they did this, when they came out a few days ago, they thought this would be a battle for the NFC West, but the Arizona got eliminated in Charlotte this past Sunday, so I don't think any chances of that. But still, Arizona can play spoiler, and they have some confidence because they beat the Rams early in the year, 41-10, thanks to a big first half by Marvin Harrison Jr. and without the efforts of Cooper Cup and Puka Nakua were out with injuries, but they have them back healthy, and Mr. Harrison hasn't come close to that production since. And having said all that, the betting odds: LA 280 and Arizona plus 230.
Yeah, and what are the betting odds this week, Amir?
Yeah, it was LA minus 280, Arizona plus 230.
Okay, I misheard you on that, so that's my mistake. So I like those odds, and I like my score. So yeah, that about covers it for this game for me. And we see our next game, please.
Yes, and if they do sweep were to win it, that'll be the Cardinals' first sweep of the Rams since 2014, so a decade. So having said that, speaking of potential sweeps, the Eagles, Cowboys, which was originally a 4:25 kickoff, moved to 1 o'clock. Well, you got the Eagles winning by 10, Keenan.
Yeah, and I feel really good about this game here. Dallas, nothing to play for. I I just think Eagles are gonna bounce back just fine against Dallas.
I would have to agree. So Eagles, you get a chance to complete the season series for the first time since 2011, believe it or not. And according to the betting odds, Philadelphia minus 500, Dallas plus 360.
I like those odds, and let's see if the Eagles can bounce back after a bittersweet loss to Washington.
Oh yeah, yeah, because that and they can probably wrap up the NFC East with the win or in a Commanders loss later on, which we'll touch on shortly. But moving on down the turnpike to East Weatherford, where the Colts will play the Giants, and Colts, it might be playing for pride by the time you wake up on Sunday morning, but we'll see about that. But so having said, yeah, the Colts winning convincingly, Keenan, and I would have to agree as long as they have a repeat performance against. They have an encore from what they did against Tennessee. So Colts 27, Giants 10.
Yeah, and according to my notes here, I have them winning 31-14, not 31-10.
Okay. Well, either way, it
Oh,
should
good.
be a one-sided affair by the visiting Colts because the Giants, yeah, they picked quite a good time to go wins at home and you wanted the season. But anywho, get into the betting odds. Indianapolis minus 450, the Giants plus 340.
Hmm. Okay. Well, I mean, Colts, you know what to do, and have a chance to make things interesting in the respective division.
Oh yeah, again, you might be playing just for pride by the time you wake up Sunday morning, depending on how things go on Saturday. But maybe not. This supposed was eligible for the Saturday slate. But anyway, try to take care of business, Indianapolis. Moving on from East Weatherford to the there we go, the Bayou Saints and the Raiders, which would have been a Dennis Allen, Derek Carr revenge game, but Derek Carr's on IR and Dennis Allen's no longer the coach, so we're gonna get the I don't know those scoring a fair according to what you have, Keenan.
Yeah, 17-14. It's gonna be one of those weird games, that we've been seeing the last few weeks, where the teams that have nothing to show for turns out to be turns out to be a fun, entertaining matchup.
I'll have to agree with you there because I'll have the Saints winning by 3 as well, but this time 23-20, and come on, 3-12, not 3. There we
And
go.
I'm curious to see what the betting odds say.
Well, the Saints are even, while the Raiders have minus 120.
Okay, so it's an even slate. Got it. Um, yeah. So we weren't that far off. I mean, it could go either way.
Oh yeah. So, but I don't think that would be should be the case in the next matchup. So moving on, going back to the state of actually going to the state of New York, but the team actually plays there, that being the Bills. They host the Jets, who play in East Weatherford, and you have them winning by 10. And I will have to agree, Bills, you should win this one by a one-score margin. Jets, I would just get the paper bags out.
Yeah, get the paper bags out, or be in solitary confinement, as they say. If you're really bad, and I would have to agree. And for the betting odds, what are they looking like, Amir?
Well, Bills minus 500, Jets plus 360, and yeah, Jets are. If you do attempt a hail mary, I hope it doesn't connect for the sake of the Bills fans. But I expect the Bills defense to be feasting on your quarterback, Mr. Rogers.
Yeah, it's gonna be one of those brew you stink moments for New York, and just should be pretty simple this week. Hopefully
Oh,
in parentheses.
hopefully is correct. So moving on from Orchard Park to Jacksonville, Florida, where the last time these two teams met, it was what you expect from two teams who won combined 3 games all season long. A defensive slugfest. But I think we'll see a little more offense this time around. So no, actually I'll say Jacksonville, since it's at home. But Jacksonville sweeps the season series and spoils another Calvin Ridley revenge game.
Yeah, so pretty close to my score of 21-14. So I like those odds. Should be fun. Should be a fun. If you don't really have no one to root for, then root for this game really.
Yeah, especially you're in any Titans or Jacksonville affiliates. And speaking of which, Titans, you got a negative 115, Jacksonville negative 105 in terms of betting odds according to ESPN. So yeah, if you sleep on this game, I wouldn't blame people.
Yeah, so definitely agree there. So moving on to moving on to to another Florida state.
Yep, and Buccaneers at our Panthers take on the Buccaneers, and it should be 8-7. Buccaneers are going to be playing with a lot of emotion, given that they have a shot to win the division, but they got to take care of business on their end. But I do see a competitive score in the visiting team winning. Care to explain to the audience, Keenan?
Well, I feel really good. You know, they're coming off their best game of the year, I would say. Bryce Young did his thing. Chuba Hubbard did his thing. I almost said Murray Adams' name. Josie Jewell did his thing, and if they play like they did last week, they should be just fine.
All right. Well, Buccaneers have a lot to play for. I mean, it could be closer than people think, but I say they'll find a way to pull it out, and they'll win it by 3. And heck, they went to overtime the last time they played, so I
Yep,
and had
yep.
to
This
come up
is
an overtime win. So what does that
yep,
tell you?
and I was at that game at the beginning of December, and I'm thinking to myself, this has got to be a revenge game on their minds, and I don't care where the Panthers for being drafted. I just want to win games, and that was my thought process going into it. And the betting odds,
Well,
Amir.
well, the Buccaneers want to win games too because they have a shot at the division. So, seeing which Tampa, you got negative 400, Carolina plus 300.
All right, well, over almost a 300 point swing. I like it. I mean, underdogs indeed. So moving on, we have the Miami and Cleveland.
Yep, this was supposed to be played on Sunday Night Football. I don't know why it took them so long to flex that game out, given the records of the two teams, especially the host team, that being the Browns. And, well, it's going to, yeah, Browns fans, I hope you bring some paper bags with you as well because you, according to your score, Keenan, it's not going to be close. And I will have to agree.
Yeah, I just don't see it, man. Don't see it at all, and oh, it's gonna be rough. It's gonna be really rough. And speaking of rough, the betting odds should be rough.
Yeah, Cleveland, you got a plus 240, Miami, negative 290.
Yeah, so not good, not good indeed, not even close.
Yeah, and speaking of, I don't know, say not good, but some bittersweet news for Dolphin fans. Yeah, like the Colts, you might be waking up to the news that your season will basically last 2 more weeks, depending on what happens. Well, in Cincinnati the day before, so you might just be playing this game for pride, but who knows? We'll see what happens on Saturday.
Definitely, and a lot of these games are gonna be a big factor on Saturday. So keep an eye out on that, folks.
Oh yeah, and speaking of keeping an eye out, so y'all weren't paying attention to your phones or NFL.com or wherever you get the NFL news, shortly after their game concluded against the Saints, their matchup against Minnesota was moved from 1 o'clock to 4:25. So, and that was a good choice by the NFL of being a little late in the game. But I anticipate a close game, which I can see by your prediction, Keenan. That's I would agree with that.
Yeah, Vikings are gonna. Oh, they look so good, man. They look so good. I like what they're doing. I feel confident in that score. So, yeah,
Well, Vikings, you are in contention for that number 1 seed. But I know the Packers are going to give you guys a run for your money. So, like, you made it close score the last time y'all played in Lambeau back in September, which Aaron Jones returned to Lambeau. Well, he didn't was able to do a Lambeau leave post game. I hope he'll find the end zone this time. But either way, get into the betting odds and oh, well, Green Bay minus 105, Minnesota minus 115. Then again, this is back. Well, and they still got a lot to play for as well. So they still are contending for the NFC North title. So I'm not surprised it's pretty close for an ESPN bet.
yeah, really close indeed. And this is gonna be like the game of the game of the week right here. So I'm looking forward to this.
I am too. Moving on to our Sunday night game that got flexed in. It was would have been another Kirk Cousins revenge game because he used to play for the Commanders back when they were that other team I shall not name. But anyway, but they might be bringing it back according to some rumors. But that's neither here or there. However, this is a revenge game for the Commanders head coach Dan Quinn because once upon a time he used to be the head coach of the Atlanta Falcons.
Yeah, another exciting game for sure. So it's gonna be close, 21-14. As for my prediction, but the Commanders, they're on a roll. They are on a roll.
I would have to agree. Commanders get it done. They will clinch a playoff spot for the first time since 2020. Be a close one. The Falcons are still contenders for the NFC South title. So yeah, Commanders and Falcons should be a good one in Landover, Maryland.
Well, if the Falcons lose, they and the Buccaneers win against Carolina this week, it changes once again.
Oh yeah, and then betting odds: Atlanta negative plus 170, Commanders minus 200.
So, Commanders, you know what to do. You're in the driver's seat this week. And as
Oh yeah.
for let's see, we have one more game to get to, and we're getting through these kind of quickly, folks. 'Cause we have stuff to do this Christmas Eve, so we don't want to hold you guys up.
Nope. So to wrap it all up for this week and the Monday night slate, because this will be the last penultimate week of the NFL season, it'll be a rematch of the NFC Championship game that was played back in January. And well, let's just say the team that was hoisting the George Hallis Trophy falling on hard times, where the team that came out short that day in Santa Clara, well, they are they're close. They're in contention to host the NFC Championship game this year. Yeah, just
Most definitely. And um, for the 49ers, they've really fallen off the cliff ever since Christian McCaffrey and Brock Purdy and Jordan went out for with those injuries. And and that was again, like I said in the first half of the show, that was my Super Bowl prediction along with Kansas City. And no, that has not come true yet for when it comes to my Super Bowl prediction.
yeah, no Super Bowl 49ers, but Super Bowl is definitely in reach for the Lions, and I'm gonna say they win. Win it. Well, they win it. I'd say by 10, 31-21 over the Niners. Gets I don't know about revenge, but they will keep that playoff matchup in the back of their heads all week long. And as for the betting odds, the visiting Lions minus 195, the host 49ers plus 165. So should be an interesting one at Levi Stadium.
And most definitely. So Amir, to really wrap things up, what is your prediction for this week?
Oh, I'm gonna say 12-4 once again.
Okay, so I put 12-4 as well. So, and you have the my notes via text as well. Um, so folks, that about covers it for our Christmas Eve doubleheader weekly pick special.
Yep. So again, father's not typing up the scores on ESPN.com, but either way, or the betting odds on ESPN.com. But either way, folks, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah and Kwanzaa. And again, just you know what to do. Like, subscribe, follow us on our social medias, Instagram and Wix. And enjoy the games, folks, starting tomorrow from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, between the Chiefs and the Steelers. And we'll see you guys next week.
Yep. See you guys next week. I hope you guys have a happy holiday season. Merry Christmas, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy Hanukkah, and until next time, have a good one, folks. Merry Christmas.